Thank you, Chairman Pitts and members of the committee, for inviting me to testify on behalf of Americans United for Life, the legal architects of the pro-life movement. The videos released by the Center for Medical Progress, which document senior-level Planned Parenthood staff callously discussing its practice of harvesting the organs of aborted babies in exchange for money, are deeply troubling. We have previously submitted a legal analysis of the videos to the Energy and Commerce Committee detailing 6 potential felonies shown on the videos. Today, I'll focus on 3 issues that have received less attention to date, specifically Planned Parenthood's involvement in killing infants born alive after an abortion, performing illegal partial birth abortions, and coordinating potentially unethical and illegal organ and body part harvesting at the corporate level. The flagrant disregard for both life and law at Planned Parenthood that the videos depict is unfortunately not surprising. One of AUL's primary functions is promoting meaningful legislative protections for all human life, including laws that protect infants born alive after an abortion and health and safety standards. Yet Planned Parenthood regularly and publicly fights against these common sense laws. The videos provide insight into why Planned Parenthood desperately fights against lawful standards, even protections for babies born alive, like it recently did in Colorado. In one Colorado video, Dr. Savita Gind, who is the Vice President and Medical Director of Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains, remarked, quote, "If someone delivers before we get to see them for a procedure, then they are intact, but that's not what we go for." The videos raise credible concern that babies are regularly surviving an abortion, providing probable cause for investigating possible violations of the Federal Born Alive Infant Protections Act. Multiple people throughout the videos refer to the delivery of an intact specimen. For most of us, that's a baby, begging the question, was that child born alive? In multiple instances throughout the videos, that appears to be true. For example, Dr. Ben Van Handel, Executive Director of Novogenics Laboratories, notes, "There are times when after the abortion procedure is done that the heart is actually still beating." Kate Dyer, CEO of STEM Express, says intact babies are common. Quote, "If you had intact cases, which we've done a lot, we sometimes ship those back to our lab in its entirety." The videos also provide probable cause to investigate whether Planned Parenthood violates the federal prohibition of partial birth abortion in order to harvest more usable baby organs. It's important to note that Planned Parenthood actively opposed the federal ban on partial birth abortion and unsuccessfully tried to have it struck down in the courts. Even so, Dr. Deborah Nucatola, who is the Senior Medical Director of Corporate Planned Parenthood, defiantly dismisses the federal law, describing it as, quote, "up to interpretation," end quote, for abortionists like herself. Consider her description about, quote, "steps that can be taken to try to ensure," end quote, "procurement of brain tissue." The abortion process she describes, deliberately changing the baby to breech presentation, has a very troubling similarity to the description of the illegal partial birth abortion procedure. And finally, the videos document a nationwide network of affiliates in close communication with and endorsement from the corporate headquarters of Planned Parenthood. As an organization, Planned Parenthood's enterprise liability is illustrated by the knowledge and complicity of its senior-level staff who set and direct policy. Dr. Nucatola stated multiple times that the legal department at Planned Parenthood was well aware of the harvesting and selling of infant body parts by affiliates, but advised against issuing written national guidelines regarding the practice. Dr. Gind made similar statements. In fact, as this chart demonstrates, the undercover videos show that the scandal is extensive and reaches the highest levels of Planned Parenthood. For example, the videos include discussions with corporate Planned Parenthood Senior Medical Director, the President of Planned Parenthood's Medical Directors Council, the Vice President and Medical Director of Planned Parenthood Rocky Mountain, which is one of their largest affiliates, and the National Director for Planned Parenthood's Consortium of Abortion Providers. In conclusion, on behalf of Americans United for Life, I encourage you to take 2 legislative responses as a beginning. First, redirect the tax dollars that presently support Planned Parenthood to true health care providers not plagued by scandal. This abortion giant receives over $1.25 million per day in government funding. We support the proposals to address Medicaid funding that is subsidizing Planned Parenthood because Americans should not be forced to fund the nation's #1 abortion provider. And second, strengthen the Federal Born Alive Infant Protection Act with criminal penalties to ensure meaningful enforcement of the most basic human right to life for these infants who survive attempted abortions. Additionally, hold abortion workers to their legal duty to report crimes to law enforcement. Planned Parenthood cannot be permitted to operate while violating laws that protect human rights. Having shown and demonstrated that it cannot resist the financial incentives for delivering intact babies to harvest their organs, Planned Parenthood cannot be allowed to continue their inhumane practices unchecked. And let me conclude by saying thank you for addressing this very important issue and holding this hearing.
Chair, thanks. The gentlelady.